Omega.
Yes, Gunner.
So what happens when you have the largest man on the roster crying like a bitch?
Discomfort.
No, you just have big feels. Let's start the show. No time for joking around. Just quiet down, shake. Thinking from this place. No laughing loud. They're back to wrong. To track down blue. You can hear it laughing times. If you only listen to Big My Brain! Big My Brain! Get serious. Oh, whoa. Get serious. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sirius number 88. I am Gunner. That is Omega BR.
I have with me a package of strawberry Pez and a package of lemon Pez, and I will be eating one Pez for every time Yankum says something dumb or repetitive on tonight's program.
You'll be done with that before segment 3. Well, because speaking of our smart and wonderful and most gracious technical producer, Yankum DDS.
Go fuck yourself.
That's fun.
Let's get to the news. The WWE Performance Center had an evaluation camp this weekend. Among the talents were Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, the American Wolves, who are no longer under contract with Ring of Honor, with Edwards particularly standing out. In addition, William Regal was scouting talent at PWG's Battle of Los Angeles. The locations for WrestleMania for the next 2 years have been finalized, yet kept secret. A joint bid for 2016 has come from Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, competing with Orlando and Dallas, but the Windsor Star confirmed that Detroit lost the bid. Detroit lost the bid because Detroit didn't actually support that. Here's the real story behind that. The city of Windsor set aside $60,000 to actually make a bid and for WrestleMania so that they could have it alongside of Detroit. Detroit didn't want anything to do with it because of the current financial status that they're in. It'd be kind of stupid for a city to go through bankruptcy and then host WrestleMania at the same time. But I can believe that Orlando and Dallas would want it. I'm assuming that Dallas is going to be one of those cities for one of those years because they've been wanting it since 27 or 28 or one of the two. I've been hearing about that. And the other stuff, American Rules in WWE. Well, I guess Duck Butt needs somebody to wrestle.
Yeah, I think they appreciate those guys as very technical wrestlers with also that kind of speed and flair, but I don't know how well they would really do. I don't know about Richards so much. I think they said that Edwards was really kind of standing out. And
I'm
I believe he's younger too.
Which one's Davey Richards?
Davey Richards is the paramedic. Eddie Edwards is the babyface.
No, I'm still lost.
Well, anyway, they're very similar. They train together and everything. I could see one of them doing well, but maybe not both, unless they were a tag team, which is kind of their thing, but not really. They are a team, but they also kind of want to be single stars. I imagine that's what they would hire them for, is to be single stars eventually. And I don't know. It might be worth tryout. But, Richards kind of tends to have a reputation of sort of knowing what's best for himself, which really isn't the attitude you can take in the WWE.
As you saw this week on Raw, how well that went for Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah. And, the thing with Detroit, too, and WrestleMania is, a lot of cities do, in fact, go bankrupt trying to host the Olympics. And, not that WrestleMania is the Olympics, but it would be kind of silly to spend more money to get a little bit of money. That's not enough money. Well, I think I proved my point.
Lean into the ground, Omega. Why don't you read the next news segment?
Finally.
Well, according to PW Insider, AJ Styles and TNA have reached some sort of agreement for AJ to stay with the company, at least for now. Apparently it's a 3-month contract extension, according to the Observer, and that the quote-unquote pipe bomb types promo that he did on Thursday was his idea, and he had no input on it from anyone else. Many stars from TNA have been reaching out to WWE lately, more than usual, but the company remains pretty much totally uninterested in any of them, anybody from TNA, as they feel they have enough homegrown talent, and they don't want to get into dirty business like they did with Ric Flair. The only former star they've seriously been speaking with is Matt Morgan.
He was a WWE guy in the beginning.
Yeah, and I could see Morgan maybe taking Big Show's place as sort of the big guy, the kind of big, of course, not the big, dominating world champion guy, but like the big guy who is like serious and kind of menacing half the year and then kind of goofy and, cries and stuff the other half.
Oh, so like Manchester.
Something like that, yeah.
Who is also a theater nerd, by the way, so if you want to make fun of that, go right ahead.
I'm not, because I am also a theater nerd, so go fuck yourself, Yankum.
I've been to a few movie theaters.
Speaking of things that are getting cut, WWE Injury Report, WWE.com reports that Christian suffered a concussion in his match with Randy Orton last week, and despite normal Impact scores, it is waiting until his symptoms disappear. The site also reports that Mark Henry suffered a hamstring injury during a house show and is awaiting MRI results. Fandango suffered a broken nose in his match with Miz last night, and the Observer reports that recently returned Rosa Mendez was in rehab during her time away and made you believe that she had fabricated the story of her being abused by her former fiancé. So, Rosa was in rehab, Mark and Christian are injured again, and Miz broke Fandango's nose. What a prick.
To be fair,
The Miz sucks, and we should never ever talk about him again.
He had it coming. I heard people saying no weird stuff, and that Miz didn't have a choice. Accidents happen. A broken nose, in the grand scheme of things, how bad is a broken nose, really?
Do you hear that? That's Omega eating his entire package of Pez for the stupidity of your comments.
Seriously? Like a broken nose is all that bad? Man up, pussy.
Could you hear that?
Is that the empty pack of Pez?
No, that was actually me chopping up all of the Pez so I could snort it in one big go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Omega BR.
Well, I will say, I don't dislike Miz as much as other people. I think his problem, I almost think he should retire from the ring, because I feel like his career had been just like, he went through, that disease where people, age like 30 years in a matter of 10 years. Yeah, I feel like his career was progeria. He had the thing with Morrison. He kind of built himself up. He kind of rose really quick as a single star. He became the champion. He main evented WrestleMania, even though he wasn't really a focus. Now he's in this kind of face rut where most of what he's doing anyway is promotion and Miz TV. And him being in the ring isn't really that important anymore. So I almost feel like he should just, he had his career. He did well. He did what a lot of other guys never do, which is be at WrestleMania at all, but also main event it. And, maybe they should put him as, he's done commentary, maybe make him a commentator for when, King or Cole or whoever finally decides to, hang it up, so.
I don't think he's all that bad. Really. I don't understand some of the vitriol directed at The Miz. He's really not all that bad.
You know how much you hate Ned Jester? You know how much you hate Janet Jester?
Yeah.
Like, you just this vile hatred of someone who just really annoys you because they exist, and it's like their existence complicates yours because it interferes with your ability to go on and have a decent day.
Really?
The Miz is
that bad. Really?
It's that bad. Yes, because it's disingenuous. But it's disingenuous. Okay, it's like this, right? He's a guy that, and this is the worst possible thing that you could probably do. He's a guy that understands the business, came in, and I could see the reason why JBL didn't like him. Because he has this way about him that is completely disingenuous. Like, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. He has the heart and drive and blah, 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 blah to see that, but it's hollow. And his entire being and his entire focus is hollow. And he's very Los Angeles.
Except that he does want to be there. Even when he was on The Real World, he was talking about wrestling and being a wrestler, and he was doing The Miz while he was on the show. It's obvious that wrestling is what he wanted to do. I don't think he's just parlaying his 15 minutes of fame from an MTV show into...
Oh, no, I'm not saying that.
Some people see
No. You're missing the point. What I'm trying to say is The Miz is bad because... in and of itself, like Daniel Bryan said this week, he doesn't have the heart of a champion. He might be a champion, he might be a former WWE champion, but he does not have the heart for it. He doesn't have the likability. He's Ric Flair at 55,
when he turns heel again,
which is exactly where he should be, because people like to hate him, but he's very good at this promotion work, so they keep him face.
Well, let's move along.
Yeah, it is kind of collateral damage of, just being a bland, boring face, which is almost every face, and so it kind of affects his work in the ring, too. But anyway, speaking of affecting work, how about this? The Figures Toy Company, the long-standing maker of the WWE Replica Championship belts, is suing WWE due to an alleged termination of their relationship to make a deal with a China-based manufacturer. They claim WWE is citing various instances of failing to deliver quality product in a timely manner, but that it was actually WWE themselves that was responsible for causing this, such as telling them that they were retiring the spinner version of the WWE Championship, and then trying to order more after their stocks had been depleted, because, of course, they figured that if it was being retired, then they don't need to make more. And ordering 3 times their previous largest order of the new WWE Championship design, which is actually very intricate and requires hand placement of over 100 joules, resulting in a few lower quality belts from the shipment. So basically, FTC is alleging that WWE set them up to fail, and then is now using that failure as an excuse to go with another manufacturer.
It sounds like the WWE butt-fucked them, overwhelmed them, and then got mad because they didn't deliver product. I mean, I'd like a website that does a million things, and I'd like it in 6 hours, and my budget is $200.
I don't think it was all that. From what I'm reading here, it does kind of look like they fucked them a little bit. But just saying, hey, we're retiring the spinner belt, that probably wasn't the best. They probably should have said, we're not going to be using the spinner belt anymore, but we will be ordering more, instead of just, hey, we're retiring the spinner belt. Because people who don't know anything about wrestling or, wrestling product probably wouldn't know that they're going to continue to sell those belts. But ordering 3 times the largest previous order, that doesn't sound like setting up to fail. That sounds like they were expecting a boom in sales, and they were trying to have stock on hand in order to meet that demand.
Well, it's also kind of a matter of, they don't necessarily know what the title is going to look like and everything, and they need to work it out within themselves to actually be able to replicate this thing. And again, the thing is, all the belts that they sell on WWE.com and at live events, all those belts, they're all made by Figures Toy Company. It's not like WWE has some kind of in-house, otherwise replica. This is who they go to actually make these replicas. So it sounds like bad communication to me. And they'll still make the spinner as something you can buy, I imagine. It's just a matter of when you say it's going to retire, and then, sales kind of drop off because, not as many people are going to buy an old belt as the new belt, and then they decide they want more. It's kind of...
Right.
It's just bad communication is what it sounds like. And, it sounds like it's probably WWE's fault, but... I guess that's what courts are for.
Speaking of things that courts are for, a woman charged with homicide allegedly gave birth to a son in the restroom of a sports bar she was watching SummerSlam at with 2 male friends, placing the child in the toilet tank before resuming watching the pay-per-view. She testified that nobody knew she was pregnant. Life in style. Let that sink in for a second. Yep. A lady had birth, tossed the kid into the toilet tank, and then resumed watching the pay-per-view.
It wasn't that good of a I mean, it was a good pay-per-view, but it wasn't toss your baby in the toilet tank good.
Is that what happened to you? Moving on. Life and Style is reporting that Stacy Keibler is now dating millionaire Jared Pabry? Whatever. Brodus Clay said in an interview that the incident with Cameron at WrestleMania rehearsal was over her not listening to what Sweet Tea had to say, and that he believes her boyfriend put on a show for the cameras. People magazine reveals that Titus O'Neil is dating Omarosa Manigault of The Apprentice fame. Oh, Omarosa, yes. Her first relationship since fiancé Michael Clark Duncan passed away a year ago. Oh, well. Interesting.
I'm sure she's very nice once you get to know her. Omarosa, that is.
Yeah, I'm sure. She's super nice.
Really, she should be dating Cameron. Because since Cameron doesn't listen, then she wouldn't be annoyed by his incessant barking.
Do ho 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 ho.
I used to have that on here.
Yeah, that was your cue, you know.
I used to have that on here. I don't anymore.
I'll get it back.
I tend to piss a lot of people off.
That'll work.
Omarosa is like, she's very...
That, indeed, she does have a fat ass. But...
Does she? I don't think she does.
she has a nice ass.
Oh, suck it, duck it, quack, quack.
Are we really
She
talking
struck
about
me.
Omarosa's ass? Can we talk about wrestling?
Sure, we can talk about wrestling.
I don't really want to, given the subject, but, alright.
All right, let's go talk some real wrestling. Let's talk 15-minute time limit. So this week, apparently, we're supposed to talk about Raw and how bad it was.
You know, I was gonna suggest, let's not talk about Raw. We always talk about Raw and WWE and all that. Let's talk about, State of the Independents again. Let's talk about, new Japanese promotions. But then Raw comes on. And, despite my better judgment, and them not giving me a reason to, I stick around for the full 3 hours. And it was just... I mean, if I had to sum it up, that's what it is. They just did not give any reason for you to sit there and keep watching for the 3 hours.
But Big Show crying.
Yeah, I'll start with that. How about? That's got to be the worst segment they've done this year. I mean, the reason they did it, I know why they did it. They did it to set up this whole Big Show thing later in the night. In another one of their brilliant, let's establish and conclude an arc, a storyline arc, in the same night. One of those moves. But they really did it because, people pointed out, why is Big Show holding back if he's got an ironclad contract? So this was their way of explaining it with the whole... first of all, it's not really ironclad, because if he doesn't perform the way we want him to, then we can just fire him, which kind of goes against what they said before, but whatever. Plus the fact that he's broke, which really makes no sense. It's the same excuse they gave Teddy Long when he was kind of forced to be, assistant general manager on SmackDown to, I think,
It was
Vicky,
also,
I think.
the same reason that HBK had to be JBL's lackey.
Oh, yeah. God, I completely forgot about that. That was ridiculous. So, yeah, anytime they use that, it's really, really ridiculous. And some of the dialogue was just, it didn't make any sense whatsoever. Stephanie McMahon saying to Big Show that she grew up being his friend and little 12-year-old Steph and pigtails playing with Big Show. But Big Show debuted in WWF in 1999, the same year Stephanie debuted on TV, and she was like 23. And she married Triple H on screen a year later.
And had a boob job.
Yeah, and then you have the stock market crashing, the strip mall. What was that? The strip mall didn't work out? What was that supposed to mean?
I think what they were going for was, you've made bad investments. You bought into this strip mall and these other businesses, and they didn't pan out, and it didn't make any money for you, and you lost.
Yeah, but is that a
Now you're
reference to
broke
something,
and-
or is that just?
Well, it happens
really-
to people. I mean, that's certainly a thing that happens. And I'm sure it's happened to many a wrestler where they've tried to open a restaurant or something like that, and it just falls flat on its face.
Well, sure, but it just seems like such an out of nowhere, just an out of nowhere thing to say. Like if she had said, oh, you like to gamble, I know you've gambled it away. Oh, I know you gave some money to this Ugandan prince who emailed you, stuff like that. But just out of nowhere, the strip mall didn't work out. That's always a problem when it's like they're trying to reference things that nobody but they know about. That's a terrible problem in storytelling.
Well, I don't even think it's things that they know about. I think it's just things that they were like, shit, what do we say? I mean...
No, you know what this is? This is beginning to sound WCW 2000. I'm beginning to not enjoy this because it's like way too insider for everyone else to fucking get, except for like the 5 people that actually wrote the fucking storyline. And I'm really beginning to not like this kind of thing. I mean, I understand that there is some sense of reality that needs to be put into these storylines to actually make this genuine. But when it comes off fake like this, and it's when it underperforms as an actual mechanism for you to tell the story, it just completely makes it shit, which is what's happened this past Monday. I mean, I just watched the segment, literally before the show came on, and Big Show is a perfectly fine actor. He can act passably. However, he shouldn't be the focal point of this fucking story. Because he's all right, but he's not to say that he's a good actor is a bit of a stretch.
If they were going to do this, they should have been doing it months ago. They should have had, Big Show randomly walking up to people and being like, hey, you want to get in on this strip mall? Or, hey, I'm opening a restaurant. You wanna, get in on this with me? Set it up. No!
It's really just a throwaway line that they didn't think about, that other people, they don't think that we'll think about these things. That's why the whole ironclad contract thing was an issue in the first place, that they then had to, kind of address. And, again, it's just bad writing and it's bad storytelling. And speaking of bad writing, just this whole Triple H, Randy Orton coalition, where at the start, this is like the 3rd week in a row now, where they've started the show. They've talked about Bryan a little bit. Bryan comes out and gets his verbal digs in on them, which are pretty decent. I mean, talking about... I don't even remember what he said, but, that's kind of that's what makes it a feud, when Bryan actually gets some digs in on them, and maybe takes a little bit personal, like they say. But then, again, 3rd week in a row, 2nd or 3rd, where they trot out the whole roster, as if, Triple H showing up throughout the show and, cursing anybody who looks at him funny to a pointless match isn't bad enough. Trot out the whole roster to watch, as if, to say, they're not the important part, this is the important part. And then, Bryan has a match which isn't really a match, and the Shield interfere and triple powerbomb him, and then, again, I understand that they're building up people to oppose the Triple H, Orton, McMahon, whatever, establishment, like Big Show and Dolph Ziggler and everybody. But, to have this stupid, long, drawn-out thing where Big Show's balling like supposed to be the world's biggest athlete, giant, intimidating, balling like a baby, refusing to do it, finally does do it, and, like Gunnar said, it's really getting hard to actually enjoy this, because it's just such a lazy, predictable, cliche story that really seems to do nothing but do what's best in that moment to make the bad guys look good. And I know I'm kind of rambling here, but I just want to say, this is how I feel about it. It's almost like they're giving us a 12-course meal, And good storytelling is about giving you, each meal is bigger and better, But what they're doing is, it's like they're giving us the same course 11 times in a row. And then that 12th course is something different and big and explosive. And that's kind of how they tell stories, They instead of gradually building it up as sort of this war where each side gets a point and this and that, they just have one side completely dominate again and again and again, repeat it, until finally they want to try and bank on that moment where something different happens. And it just doesn't really work, because not only do people get bored, but if that moment doesn't live up to all the hype and it isn't satisfying, then the whole thing was a huge waste. All right.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree with you, because if you sit here and you think, that the waste of time that they're doing right now is evident. I mean, obviously we're going to have, this feels just as bad as the 2000 Reign of Doom from Triple H, because it's the same shit every night with Triple H in power and, jerking off his power over everyone. But now, instead of him holding the title, it's Orton, and we're just sitting here wondering, who's actually going to stand up and when are they going to actually look weak, because for 3 straight weeks in a row now, they don't look weak. They don't look like they're actually defeatable. They look like they have all the answers, and that we're still in this doom spiral. I mean, obviously, Daniel Bryan is the light at the end of the tunnel here, but at the same time, how can you have a light at the end of the tunnel that looks believable if you don't ever take a fall? And I've yet to see them take a fall.
And, people criticize the Attitude Era and everything. The thing about the Attitude Era was people could actually beat each other. And there actually were back and forth. When Austin was up against McMahon, Austin didn't just get, pardon my French, but he didn't just get shat on every week. He actually, fought back. He actually got some points. And, Bryan is kind of doing it, with ruining Randy's car and everything. But, they seem like very, very meager, almost petty victories compared to, getting beat up every night, as well as the rest of the roster, who, even winces at the thought of helping him or supporting him, And by the way, the other thing too, I like how the one feud that doesn't involve these guys, Heyman Punk, I like how Triple H had to come in and say to Heyman, I don't really care what happens to you, but it'd be kind of funny if you got beat up. Basically just saying, it doesn't matter.
But that feud, dear God in heaven, that feud, no matter what badness goes on around it, I believe that feud is a diamond amongst all other shice that might happen on the show.
Yeah, I'm not even that big on that feud, to be honest with you.
Really?
Which one? The Punk feud?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's just okay.
I'm lukewarm about it. I mean, this is definitely the fall lull of wrestling, because it's not that hot, but it's not that cold either. I'm waiting for something interesting to happen there. Question.
Yeah. See, that's the problem.
Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Hell in a Cell?
I don't think that'll happen. I think they'll bring him back in WrestleMania time, since he has the one pay-per-view match left. But yeah, that's the problem. See, it's all Punk, and Punk can't help Bryan, and all Punk can really do is go after Axel and Heyman, but you can't really, you have to stretch that out to 4 weeks, so that's why we kind of get Punk and Heyman each getting 15 minutes to kind of give speeches about each other. And they're good speeches, but, you know, at this point they're kind of saying a lot of the same things. And, you know, you need something more to happen, but they don't know what. And that's really the core problem of Raw right now. They don't know what's going to happen in the future, and they're just kind of scrambling to do it in the now, and that's why we're getting these big lulls of, okay, well, we know what's going to happen at the pay-per-view, we know what's going to happen in the next one, we know, but how do you fill in all those gaps in between? That's the problem.
Cream?
Funk is on a roll. Funk is on a roll.
Funk is on a
You did-
roll.
And that too, they have to come up with the obligatory title matches for, even though they're all defended almost every pay-per-view anyway.
So you'll see all the champions at Night of Champions. So the Shield will be in action twice. We'll get a crappy Total Divas match, which is a four-way from what I understand. CM Punk for the Intercontinental title? Really? Has he won that yet?
I don't care.
I don't remember. In fact, they haven't said it's for the title yet. It's just a handicap match.
Just real quick though, how much more would the IC title mean if Punk held it for a little while?
A lot, actually. And it would take somebody of equal credibility to be able to beat someone like that. And he wouldn't win it just because it would be something that he would, he would be the lesser for. It would just be because he beat Axel for it, and that's a blood feud right there.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. They're not really showing off Axel as much. They're not really showing off the... I mean, they had Heyman beat him down and everything, but, they have too many weeks and too many hours. Alright, well, that was stupid.
Alright, that's it. So we're going to go to break here. Bianca, what do we have lined up for music?
Music.
Yes, music. Are we going to break? Mr. Sound Producer?
Well, we have, I believe last week we did Antichrist, correct?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Let's do Antichrist 2.
Alright, Antichrist 2 by the wonderful Super Blizzard. SuperBlizzard.com for all of your Super Blizzard needs, with your Super Blizzard and Super Blizzard-like accessories.
It's superblizzard.bandcamp.com. Apparently he's not using the domain name.
That's what I meant.
So superblizzard.bandcamp.com. Go check it out. Here is Antichrist 2.
Everything I used to love is buried under the streets. No procession that weeps to admit defeat. And every night I feel the past underneath my feet. They are the demon in my dreams while I'm fast asleep. Take it to whatever level is the level it takes to make you open up your eyes and realize mistakes. I got the goddamn fans of your product defending me. So if I am what I eat, I guess it was fucking industry. Ain't got a higher agenda, nothing divine or design. Just got my mind on destruction and destruction on my mind. I'm pushing my fucking fingers in the eyes of the blind old bastards who thought that they could leave me behind. Peace is overrated, war knows what death is, and I'm the pressure on your chest that leaves you all breathless. I live for the day I see the look on your face when I'm strapping the gold belt around my fat fucking waist. Somebody get Jim Cornette. I think he might be mad at me for turning this entire company into a tragedy. He's trying to keep me out of the battle. Such a travesty of baring his teeth, but I'm a fucking bad cavity. This fat bastard's the bringer of disaster. Fuck a higher up, I call no man master. Hunts him like a rabbit and having his brain pattern, like seeing my face in a splatter of blood up in his gray matter. It's the fucking Mad Hatter, stay savage. Just take the head of its champ and place it on a silver platter. Dress it up with hors d'oeuvres and serve it to him. I'll make this place into a scene out of a Serbian film. And I say that conquest is the best revenge, unless I'm enemy death when the test begins. God damn, man flex and the rest offend. They know enough to step back with death descends. I am the violence on the back streets. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the spawn of all your bad dreams. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the product of your weakness. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. When your god's gone, you can believe this. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. My best friend is in the ground, he's fucking dead to me. My metamorphosis made him into an enemy, so I crowned him with steel as the king of the weak. And now the king and all his people are cowering at the hint of me. I was a victim of sickness, but in the miracle moment I was awoken and the light shone through, so I broke him and showed him pain. But the question remains, if I could do that to him, then what can I do to you? A monster through and through, you'll be the testament to the death wish that you made when you stepped to it. I am made flesh, war, death, famine, pestilence, end of the world, but you can call me Mr. Wrestling, yo. The question was never if Steen will, but how loud the fans will be calling kill, Steen, kill. No, I am without regret, I am devoid of shame, I am the Antichrist, let him know the name. I am the violence on the back streets. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the spawn of all your bad dreams. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the product of your weakness. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. When your god's gone, you can't believe this. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the violence on the back streets. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the spawn of all your bad dreams. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. I'm the product of your weakness. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor. When your god's gone, you can believe this. I'm Kevin Steen, and fuck Ring of Honor.
Peace is overrated, war knows what death is, and I'm the pressure on your chest leaves you all breathless. I live for the day I see the look on your face when I'm strapping the gold belt around my fat fucking waist.
All right. That was Antichrist 2, 6 Seconds Magic, Super Blizzard, superblizzard.com, superblizzard.bandcamp.com. We'll be right back after the break with the kayfabe issues.